Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today is the 17th of May and I thought it would be a good time to start the second part of my May reading vlogs. And yeah, we're in the middle of Medieval-A-Thon and the Asian Readathon, so my reading hasn't been that great in the first 2 weeks. I managed to read 2 books for Medieval-A-Thon, so I am a squire in that. And then I also managed to read 1 book for the, or finish 1 book for the Asian Readathon so far. So yeah, I have 4 more books to read for the Asian Readathon and 5 for Medieval-A-Thon. Is that right? Oh my god. Okay. So I'm working on my 3rd book for Medieval-A-Thon right now, which is Empire of Sand by Tasha Suri. I'm 140 pages in, that's about 1/3 of the way. I'm really enjoying this. This is a desert-based fantasy, and we follow our main character of Mare, who is forced to marry someone she hasn't met before, and they've just entered the desert, so I'm really excited to read the rest of this book, and that's like my major plan for this week. And for Medieval-A-Thon, this will be a first book in a series, I think, and for the Asian Readathon I will read that for a book set in a world that is different from your own, or something like that was the prompt. So yeah, that's highest priority right now, and I'm super excited because, as I said, I loved the beginning so far. And for my audiobook, I'm listening to Love Marriage by Monica Ali, and I have about 4 hours left now. And I love this book as well. It's so good. It is very different from what I expected, but I really love the commentary. I really love the main character, and there's just a lot of chaos going on. And the whole idea, I guess, is that we have this woman. Her parents are from India. She lives in the UK, in London. She is engaged and she is becoming a doctor. And now, at the point we start watching her life, it is slowly starting to unravel, and a lot of like secrets or just like misconceptions about the world are coming to life or to light. And I think it's so interesting to kind of see that even the best made plans for your life can fall apart and might not be what you really want. So I'm very intrigued to see where this ends. But there's a lot of interesting themes in this book. Like, obviously it deals with being kind of portrayed as a foreigner in the country where you grew up, because the main character Yasmin is often perceived as the other when she was born in London. Like, that's her home, and that is portrayed in like many microaggressions. Some scenes are so cringy, it hurts, but I love that. Then we also have like themes of like racism. For example, there is a couple of scenes with a black author and a white male author, and their interactions are just so painful, like, ugh. And this is basically I would say a critique of the liberal left, the white liberal left, and the way that there's still so much work to do even if you consider yourself like so woke. And I love that. It's so good. It really is so good. And yeah, there's also themes of sex addiction and where that might stem from for one of the characters. There is like a lot of family drama. There's a huge emphasis on cheating in relationships, having affairs, but I think it is dealt with really well. It's portrayed in a very real way. There's also the theme of kind of same-sex love and what that means when you find it later in life, which is also interesting. So far, it's not the main focus of the plot, but it makes me really happy to see it. Yeah, it just gives me like really warm feelings, all the themes that is explored. So yeah, it's a great book. I've been rambling on for a long time, so I will let you know how I liked it when I finish it, which will probably be very soon. And yeah, I'm just excited for it. And that book I listened to for the Asian Readathon. I think I have it just for the book written by an Asian author, and this could also count for a older woman character because it also focuses a lot on the mother of the main character, who is, as I said, from India and is middle-aged. And yeah, what else? I read it for the Medieval-A-Thon as well. I don't quite remember the prompt anymore right now. I will have to look it up, sorry. But yeah, I'll let you know when I finish the book which prompt it was for. So it's the 19th of May and it's time for an update. Last night I finished Love Marriage by Monica Ali, which was my audiobook that I was listening to. This was also, I think, the fourth prompt of the seamstress career for the Medieval-A-Thon, which was the book you bought most recently. And for the Asian Readathon, I counted it for just a book written by an Asian author. So I really loved this book. I decided to give it 4.5 stars. I had a ton of fun listening to this. For me, it was the right mixture of like drama and introspection of the main character, and also more important themes. But you know, it just, even though there were quite some traumatic things in this book, I always felt like it dealt with it quite lightly and in a more or less entertaining way, as far as you can deal with some of these topics in an entertaining way. But I just felt like the book worked for me, especially on audio. I'm not quite sure how I would have felt with the physical book, because I think it's almost 500 pages, which is a lot for a kind of literary fiction, family drama, fun story. But yeah, the audiobook was fantastic and I would highly recommend it. There are some themes in there with sex addiction, with rape, and just a lot of like family issues, the trust and secrets in the family. There's also racism and anti-Islamism, is that a word? I don't know. That is dealt with in this book, and I just felt, yeah, I just was entertained, but I also felt like all of the arguments that were made in the book were like really good. So yeah, it is a little bit all over the place, but for me that worked out quite well. I've seen some really negative Goodreads reviews, which most of them I couldn't really understand, to be honest. So that's my audiobook done. Had a lot of fun with that, and I have decided to start a new audiobook now, and that is Girl Serpent Thorn by, what's her name? Bashardoust. What's the first name? Melissa? I forgot the author's name. I'm so bad at this. I should not be talking about books, to be honest. But I haven't really started it yet. Maybe listen to 20 minutes or something. I'm very intrigued by this book. This one deals with a girl who is cursed, and basically her touch is lethal, which is a trope I really enjoy. So I've been eyeing this book for a while. The cover is absolutely stunning, and I think it's also sapphic, but I'm not quite sure on that yet. So I'm very intrigued to see how I like this book. This is inspired by Persian mythology, so I will count it for, I guess, Iran, if you want to put it to a country, for the Asian Readathon. And yeah, I'm just really intrigued. I'm also pretty much halfway through Empire of Sand. I have passed the 200-page mark. My copy is a little bit over 400 pages, so I'm still enjoying that. I'm a bit worried that this book and Girl Serpent Thorn might be too similar, but I don't think so. I hope that I will not get them mixed up in my brain, because yeah, they're both like fantasy stories that focus on a main character that lived a very sheltered life, but also has something that keeps her apart from all the other people. So we'll see, but I think that they're still different enough, because this one, I guess, will be much more focused on the world and the kind of colonial aspects of it, and yeah, this religious system. So I think they will be quite different. With Girl Serpent Thorn, I hope that it might be similar to a book I read last year around this time, which was A Curse of Roses, I think. And that one was inspired by Portuguese mythology, or like stories. And I really enjoyed that one, because that one also had like a cursed main character and a sapphic romance. So I think they might be like in a similar feel, like a similar vibe. I really hope that, because I loved A Curse of Roses, and I really want to love Girl Serpent Thorn, even though the title is very, very difficult to say for me. So yeah, I'll keep you updated. Look at this beautiful bookmark that a colleague of mine gave me for finishing my PhD. It's so sweet. I really, really love it. So today is the 25th of May. My life has gotten really, really hectic, so I haven't updated you in a while. Last weekend I spent in Hamburg. I was visiting my partner. It was really, really nice. We had a great time. But I forgot my camera, so I will try to remember to edit in some of the footage from my phone. But yeah, we had a great time. We went to a cat cafe. It was my first time, and it was amazing. It was so fun. The cats were great. We got in some cuddles, and yeah, just amazing food as well. It's a vegan cat cafe, so everything they sell is plant-based, which was great, and they had really delicious food. It was a bit on the expensive side, but it was still really, really fun, and we spent the whole afternoon there. Then we also did some sightseeing, and we went to see Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is the movie that the Asian Readathon is based on, and I think it never was in cinema in my town, so I was really, really happy that I got the chance to see that movie. We made it a whole experience with popcorn and lemonade and stuff, and we had really nice seats that were super comfy, and yeah, it was just really cool. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, the movie was a lot. Just sausage fingers. So yeah, if you've seen it, I think it is definitely worth a watch. It's a very, very unique movie. I had a lot of fun watching it. I think it had great themes. It is a movie that walks the fine line of being ridiculous but also kind of deep. So yeah, I would highly recommend it. I had a lot of fun watching it. So I had a very eventful weekend where I didn't read anything, to be honest. I think I read like 9 pages on the train. So yeah, then I have been here for 2 days now, and those 2 days I've been working non-stop basically. I had a presentation to give on my PhD thesis, which I finished now, and then last night we had a little bit of a social gathering from work, and so I don't really have any time to do anything. And today in the afternoon I'm actually leaving to go see my family, because we have a holiday here, so I'm using that to take some time off and see my family, which is really cool. I haven't seen them since February, so it's been a while. And I'm very excited. But I'm currently packing, so I thought that I mentioned what I'm packing reading-wise. So I'm still reading Empire of Sand. I think I have about 150-ish pages of that left. Now, ideally, if I read on my train ride, I could finish this today. I don't want to make any promises. I love this book, I enjoy it so much, but yeah, it's just my brain has a lot of to process right now, so sometimes it's just hard to really dive into a book. But just in case that the stars align and I finish this on the train ride, I will bring 2 other books. So the next book I want to read for the Medieval-A-Thon is The Color of Magic by Terry Pratchett, which was the first Discworld book. And for that one I am planning on doing a separate reading vlog. So yeah, this is one of the books of my like 5 authors I want to try this year kind of series. So yeah, I'm bringing this. This would be the next book that I would read. And then I thought I also bring Heimat, which is kind of like a graphic memoir family history kind of book. I did not really mean to read this month, but looking at my TBR right now, it might be a good idea to read this instead of the Tolkien book for, I think, beautiful cover or something like that is the prompt, because yeah, I think this is very stunning and it has really stunning art inside as well. So yeah, I might swap that out, because for one, I really want to read this book, and it is a quicker read, I think, than the Tolkien book. So this might be my only hope to read all the prompts for my career, and then I would still have to read 1 more book to finish as an Empress for the Medieval-A-Thon, and I also have 2 more books that I would need to read for the Asian Readathon after finishing Empire of Sand. One could be my current audiobook, which is Girl Serpent Thorn. I think that's the last thing I talked about. I have about 6 hours of that left, so there might be a chance that I finish it this month, but maybe I will finish it in June. I'm really enjoying that one. I think it definitely gives me similar vibes to A Curse of Roses, which has a similar prompt, and it just feels quite similar in that you have like a cursed kind of princess, and she's trying to lift her curse, and you have this kind of like demon character that has potential answers or could help in that journey. And I'm still not quite sure whether Girl Serpent Thorn, which is very hard to say for me for some reason, whether that will be sapphic, because A Curse of Roses was, and I really enjoyed that. And there is definitely some tension between the demon character and the princess character, if you want to say so. So yeah, I'm very intrigued to see where that goes. I'm really enjoying it. There's a lot of action in that one as well. The main character, Soraya, is very, yeah, how do you call that? Proactive. She's definitely on an interesting path now, and I'm intrigued to see where it goes. Like, this could almost be also like a villain backstory, but we'll see what kind of decision she makes in the future. I also feel like she has that guy Assad who is helping her right now, and I'm not quite sure if he's human. Like, he might also be something else, but we'll see about that. That's just a suspicion that I have. So yeah, that's my reading. That's my life. Very chaotic, but I hope that I will remember to bring the camera for this weekend, but I probably won't film in front of my family, so don't expect too much. But yeah, I hope I will at least do some reading this weekend. We'll see. So today is the 29th, no, the 30th of May. Time is flying so fast. I have returned from my trip to see my family and it was quite lovely, but also I feel very like empty now, like I don't have any energy left for anything. So let's talk about books. I managed to finish Empire of Sand on the train. This one I gave 4 stars. I really enjoyed this book. It was definitely the desert fantasy book that I was looking for. I think that the plot was intriguing. I really liked the main character of Mare. And I did enjoy the romance. I'm not a huge romance reader, but this has the trope of a forced marriage where both of the partners aren't really, they don't know each other basically, but then while getting to know each other, they do fall in love. So if you're interested in a trope like that, I think you will really enjoy this. I did really like the kind of magical system that was explored here with the dreams of the gods, the kind of practice that these people do really reminded me of yoga. It is very spiritual, but also involves a lot of movement, and I really enjoyed that. I think it was a very unique twist on things to have these dances that can guide the magic, basically. Yeah, I just really enjoyed this. I would highly recommend it if you're into desert fantasies. I will definitely get the second book, but after finishing this, I realized that the second book is following the sister, Arva, and I think it's also a couple of years later. So I don't feel like running out and getting the second book right away, because I don't think it's like super important to read them right after the other. So yeah, the story of Mare seems to be finished with this one, so you could also read this as a standalone and it would be fine. So, very good book, 4 stars, really recommend. With my audiobook Girl Serpent Thorn, this is so hard to say. I think I have a little bit more than 2 hours left now. I'm really loving this book. It is so good. I think it will turn out to be a 4 or 4.5 star read for me. One thing I would wish for is a little bit more time between the main character and the female love interest. I do love their dynamic, but there's a ton of scenes where they're not actually together, and I wish we had a little bit more of that, a little bit more of them being on that adventure together. But I do love all the other themes and the way the story is told. I really enjoy the main character, and I think that this whole discussion of her being poisonous and thinking that that's a problem for her, while it is basically a problem for others, and they just make her feel small. I really liked that discussion. I thought it was very interesting how soon in the book she manages to lift her curse, and then the storyline is different than you would expect when you read the synopsis. But yeah, I really like it. I like the romance, I like the dynamic between all the characters. I do like the evil character as well. I think it is very well done. This book still reminds me of A Curse of Roses. It has similar themes, and also I think the way the story progresses has some similarities. They do have very similar vibes, but obviously trenched in different different cultural ideas and myth, and with A Curse of Roses you definitely have way more time with the love interest and the main character being together, which is something I'm missing a little bit in this book. But I can't wait to see how it ends, and I will definitely let you know how I like the ending. And then lastly, I have started reading The Color of Magic by Terry Pratchett. This is the next book in my Medieval-A-Thon TBR. Does not count for the Asian Readathon, obviously. This one I'm reading for the foiling on the cover. I'm almost done with it. I have read about 3/4 of it already. I'm really enjoying it, but I'm doing a separate vlog, so if you're interested in hearing my thoughts, I will go into detail in that separate vlog. It's a very short book, so I hope it will be a short vlog as well. We'll see about that. But yeah, that's my reading right now. I have these 2 days left now, so I hope that I can finish both The Color of Magic and my audiobook Girl Serpent Thorn. And yeah, that will probably finish my my readathon month. We'll see about that. I will let you know how it went. So it's time for an update. It is the 31st, the last day of both Medieval-A-Thon and the Asian Readathon. And last night I managed to finish The Color of Magic. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. I thought it was a lot of fun. As I said before, there's a separate vlog coming for this, so keep your eyes peeled. But with this, I am now a princess for the Medieval-A-Thon, and also this is the second to last book I had to read for the seamstress prompts, so there is one more to finish the seamstress path. So yeah, what am I planning to do for that? I do have an hour left of my audiobook, so that one will definitely count for that, because it is a very, very gorgeous cover, and the last prompt is to read the prettiest book on your shelves. Obviously it's an audiobook, so you could say it's not really on my shelves, it's on my digital shelves, but still the cover of Girl Serpent Thorn is stunning, so that would definitely count for it. And with that I would reach the level of Queen, so not quite the 7 books done, but that's fine. And yeah, that would be Medieval-A-Thon. I could also count Girl Serpent Thorn for the Asian Readathon, and I could double up for the last 2 prompts I need to do for that. But there is a second option that I just want to throw out there, no promises, but I went through my TBR and I had one book on my winter TBR that I didn't get to, and that is this Book of Tea by Kakuzo Okakura, and this is written by a Japanese author, I'm pretty sure. I'm not quite sure if this is a novella short story thing or if this is non-fiction, but it only has 70 pages, so if I feel really compelled tonight, I might read that, and then I could finish off all of my prompts without a problem for these 2 readathons. So might happen, might not happen. You'll have to wait for the next update to find out. So May is over, and I am pleased to say that I finished all of the readathon prompts, so I'm very, very proud of myself. Yesterday I finished my audiobook of Girl Serpent Thorn, and I really loved it. I decided to give it 4.5 stars in the end. I really, really enjoyed the ending. It was so fun and cool, and yeah, it was just everything I wanted from the book. I already said that I would have wished for the main character and the love interest to have more scenes together. I think because they were separated for such a long time, it's quite hard to really root for the romance. They do have chemistry, but it feels like they only see each other like 5 times, and yeah, I would have wished for a little bit more in that regard. But apart from that, I absolutely loved it. I loved the mythological elements, the Persian-inspired myth that were wrapped into this story. I really enjoyed that there is quite a lengthy afterword of the author where she explains the different myths that inspired her story. I thought that was very well done and very interesting because yeah, that's a mythology I don't know a lot about, but yeah, from what was written there, I definitely intrigued to see more retellings or more stories inspired by these myths. So yeah, that was fantastic. I definitely love these kind of stories where the princess saves everyone and there's some kind of like demon love interest. That's definitely something I enjoy. And then I finished another book yesterday, and that was The Book of Tea by Kakuzo Okakura. I found out that this was actually written in 1908, I believe, so this is very old. I didn't think that. When I started reading it, it felt very modern. I don't know if it is the translation or whether this is just a very readable text. I must say that I did enjoy reading this, but I didn't love it. Sometimes it was a little bit hard to follow what the author was trying to say. But basically this book, or yeah, this, if you can even call it a book, it concerns itself with the history of tea, mainly in Japan, and tea ceremonies and stuff like that. And that was very interesting. I didn't really know a lot about that, and I think that this book gives quite a few interesting glimpses into that, but it's definitely very short, and it also goes on some tangents that, yeah, it's not always very easy to see how it connects to the tea. But yeah, this is an interesting book about art, about the relationship between the Eastern and the Western world. And I was really surprised to see how old this text actually was, because it felt much more modern than it is, which is quite interesting. So in the end, I decided to give this 3 stars. It was very interesting. Little read. I counted this for the book with the prettiest cover for the Asian Readathon, as well as for Japan, obviously. And this is also the book that made me an Empress for the Medieval-A-Thon. So that was my 7th book that I finished in the month. It's actually the 8th book, but I didn't count 1 book because I was already very far into it at the beginning of the month. So yeah, I finished all the prompts, which is so cool. I'm very proud of myself. I didn't say, I think I read Girl Serpent Thorn for the book with a Asian woman or an older woman in it, because the mother of the main character plays a big role in all of the like important lead characters are female, so I thought it would fit that prompt, even though I would have liked to read the book that was on my actual TBR, but yeah, whatever. So that's it. That's this month in reading. I'm pretty glad that at the end I managed to turn it around a little bit, because I did a lot of traveling and stuff, so I wasn't reading as much as I would have liked to, but sometimes other things are more important than reading, and that's fine as well. And I'm really looking forward to now mood read in June. I do have a couple of books that I want to get to, but yeah, with the last 2 months I had like very strict TBRs, so it's quite nice to now be more free in my reading again. I do like to keep that in balance, you know, the readathon month and then the more open month where I just do whatever I want. One thing I wanted to mention is this book, which I got at work yesterday. One of my colleagues wanted to get rid of it, and I decided to grab it, and it's My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. This is the German translation, but since it is a translated work, I don't really mind. And it is a lot bigger than I thought. It's almost 500 pages. So we'll see when I get to it, but this has been a book that whenever I see it, I want to read it, so I thought I snatch it up. Oh, no, I can't get it back there. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Leave a nice comment. Leave a like or a nice comment. And I will talk to you soon. Bye!